Is my voice loud and clear? Can
Yes,
answer.
sir.
Okay lang. Dugaganang, wait lang. I'm using my microphone. Just wait for a while. Do you think my audio is coming from the microphone that I'm using? Or is it coming? I-try ko ha, i-tap kong microphone. If may gatap-tap na sa inyo, it means it's working. Okay? Is it
Get
working?
up, sir.
Gatap?
Yes, sir.
O, sir.
Okay.
O, sir.
Pero, pero ang inyong hambal, dere ko makita, dere ko mabatian sa camera mismo, sa laptop mismo, but not on this headphone. So useless ang headphone. Okay. Okay, this is just going to be a very a fast lang discussion. That lang. Just gonna make my audio. Okay. We're just going to discuss about how you formulate your research problem because ang iban sa inyo was able to send na sang ilang mga titles. However, let me tell you class that what you call this, hindi sa akon mahalin, hindi sa PR2 mahalin ang final approval of your research titles. It will be coming from your III teachers. A teacher, sinong III nyo? A teacher, galing FREMANTLE, si Basia, no? Si Ma'am Basia, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, si Ma'am Basia. So si Ma'am Basia, ma-feedback sa akon if the title is already finalized or not. Finalized na yung title. Lang, sino masabat? Si ano be? Si Capotero. Capotero, could you please unmute your mic?
Yes, sir.
May announcement na si Ma'am nyo Basia regarding your titles, if it's final or not.
So, I pa ba siya sa
Do
akong knowledge?
wala pa siya kahatag liwat.
Reference.
Okay, wala pa. So probably, if okay na ang title ninyo, ihatag na sa akon for final approval pagid for PR2. Kay ano na naton, suguran nyo na dayon ang inyong chapter 1 and chapter 2 for the first quarter. Because I think that would be your performance task nga dapat ninyo obrahon. Kung hindi ka mo nakaobra, then probably you will fail the third quarter. Okay, third quarter, fourth quarter ang sa research. Okay, sa fourth quarter, dira na masulod ang finalization of your papers, ang inyo chapter 3, 4, and 5. So the whole research paper, gid niyo obrahon dapat before you can proceed to BSMT. Okay? So today we are just going to discuss ang aton nga tawag ang lesson 6. By the way, I na found out ko ng aton nga atong sa video nga ginhambal ko from lesson 3 to 5 ang need ninyo i-answer sa assessment ka part. Wala ko pa to gali na open, so I just opened it today. So please answer na. Watch the videos anay kay para at least may matun-an ka mo anay before you go to the assessment part. Okay? Pero ato na dito ang assessment nga part. Today, we're just going to discuss about lesson 6. Medyo gamay ka mo ang FREMANTLE. Could you please send first all your names sa group chat, then we're going to continue. All right, so I am going to share my screen to you. We're going to talk about lesson 6. 13 pa lang ang nag-send sa group chat. You're all 24. Ang mga wala pa nakasend. So please, ang matamat na send. All right. Can you see my screen? Would you please, would you like to place an approve emoji? Kung makita niyo ng screen. All right. Okay. Okay, so before we start, Anay, I stopped the screen sharing, Anay. Sino ang mga sinong group 1? Unmute your mic, group 1, if you're here for the research.
Sir.
Sir.
Si Pinar. Si Pinar, sino pa?
Sir.
Sir. Rekamado
Si
sa group 1.
Pinar.
Sir.
Okay. Okay, group 1. Group 2. Group 2. Sinong leader sa group 1? Nga dogin assign yung mga leader.
Yes, sir.
Si?
Buenafe.
Ikaw di Diyos? Si Buenafe.
Si Buenafe, sir.
Alright, so Okay, si Buenafe. Okay, pero hambal ko gani, do not depend solely or on the leader alone. Dapat, bululigay. Who's the next one? Ang group 2?
Kami, sir.
Group 2? Si Donesa. Donesa, ikaw leader?
Hindi, sir. Si Lucenio, sir.
Si?
Si Lucenio.
Okay, si Lucenio. Okay. Si Lucenio. Then, ang group 3?
Yes, sir.
Si Lampria? Si Lumayno? Alright. Sino leader niya, Lampria or Lumayno?
Retirado, sir.
Retirados.
Okay, sa retirado. Since wala din sa retirado. Ang group 4?
Sir.
Si Capotero. Si
Group 4,
Soriaso.
sir.
Okay. Sino leader niyo?
Kapatero, sir.
Si Capotero. Okay, Capotero. Ang group 5, the last group.
Kami, sir. Sir.
De Jimeno. Sino pa? Dito. Thank you. Sino pa?
Nepel, sir.
Si Pinafiel. Sino pa again?
Sir.
Okay. So, sino leader niyo?
Si Orbiso, sir.
Si Orbiso. Di wala din mga kalabanan ng mga leaders. Wala di ako. Alright. So, nevertheless, at least you're here ang mga group mates. Okay. So, let me just ask you a question. Group 1, Anay. Group 1, may nakamusang do isa ka title nga you want to focus your study on. Group 1. Who can speak for group 1? Yes, Buenafe. Hello? Buenafe? We can't hear you, Buenafe.
Wala pa, sir, kay isang
Mabatian niya. Yes?
tatlo ginsen na.
Okay, ang tatlo nyo send sa akon were the same questions kagin send nyo sa may sa III nyo.
Hello, sir.
Hello? Mabatian nyo maayo si hindi class. Sign ka mo mabatian. So hindi masyado mabatian. Let's go to group 2, Anay. Who can speak for group 2?
Ako, sir. Wala pa man
Okay,
kami, sir. Ano,
Donesa.
sir?
Ha?
Wala pa man, sir. Wala pa man kami sir ano gid sang title gid namon bala sir. Pero nag-base lang kami sir sa isa
Na
sir ka topic
final.
namon sir sa 5. Amo to sir ginsend namon to sir sa imong tatlo to sir.
Okay. Ang title, ang inyo ginsend sa akon were the titles already. Okay? So,
Sir.
gine-decidean nyo pa kung ano to sa tatlo.
Oh
Alright?
sir.
Pero at least, di ba, may mga topics. May topics na kamo ang all of the groups nga gin focusan nyo. Alright? Today, we're going to talk about how to formulate your research problem. Amo lang na. And as what I told you, ang sa PR2 would only be about how to how to write a research, ang mga ideas and concepts and everything. However, the application of it would all come from or should be done with your III nga subject. Okay? Sa III, kumbaga, ang aton de sa PR2, discussions only, where the application would all be in your III nga subject. Magamba kita application and paano nyo i-apply ang inyo natunan from PR2. Like for example, we're going to talk about how to formulate your research problem today. So in III, dira ka mo mabutang or dira ninyo i-apply ang mga natunan nyo on how to formulate research problem or quantitative problem. All right? So we're going to start now so that you will still have a time to answer the assessment part later on at the end of the meeting, or I'll just keep it open for the entire week ang tanan nga lessons ang assessment nga part. Di ba kay gagmay man lang ginaansiran niyo sa may PR2 mga five items lang gani. Okay? Kaya para hindi man bugat sa inyo. So from lesson 1 to lesson 6 today, I'll keep it open for the entire week until sa Sunday. Kaya para sa Sunday ninyo ansiran. Okay? Ang deadline sang pag-answer niyo. Right? So I'm gonna share my screen to you. All right. So it seems like makita niyo man akong screen. Just keep your camera open, class, so that I'll see if you're here or not. All right. So if you have watched the videos that I have recorded and I have sent to you via YouTube nga link, I discussed everything about the first things nga dapat ninyo matunan in research. All right? So I talked about variables, di ba? I talked about first ang research, what is research and inquiry. We talked about quantitative research, we talked about experimental research, non-experimental research, and variables. Okay? So these 5 things are very important for you to know kung ano ang research ninyo or ano ang guide ninyo later sa pag-ubra niyo sa inyong research. Okay? The most important thing that I think I was able to discuss and I have given to you are the variables. So dapat balaan nyo ang variables, class. Okay? Kay later on, amo na ang gamiton ninyo gid for sa inyong pagsulat sa inyong research sa inyong entire paper. Okay? So we're going to talk about the research problem. Okay? As what is said here, okay, basahon ko anay, then I'll explain it so that we'll have a time para maintindihan ninyo in your module. Okay? Life is not always a bed of roses. Okay? It is made up of both negative and positive aspects of life. Experiencing something negative or making you fail to affirm the existence of a thing you expected to see or happen is a natural occurrence in life. So, as what we've said, okay, palit-ulit na lang na ang aton nga research. Life is not always a bed of roses. It's not always easy to live a life. Okay? So sometimes we tend to we tend to have a positive or negative aspect, or we can experience negativity and positivity in life. Okay? And it's natural. This situation in life where you find difficulty in knowing or finding answers or solutions to questions causing you worries or perplexities is called a problem, di ba? di ba, in research gani. Although wala ka problema, but you really need to get a problem for you to have a research paper. Okay? Because if you don't have a problem in a research, okay, so wala kasang point kung anong imong gusto mahibaluan. So that's research. Okay? And we can apply it to life. Okay, may mga certain things sa mga saton nga kabuhi that we question. Okay, and as we question it, we try to get answers, and through research, okay, we can have an answer. By nature, you or any person on earth do not want to stay long in a problematic kind of life, di ba? Who would want to live a problematic life? Once you encounter a problem, being an being an inquisitive, speculative, and creative person, you immediately would like to find ways and means to free yourself from such conundrum in your life. So, as you sparked by your curiosity and interest, you get to ponder on a problem needing answers. You resort to thinking of what to solve, whom to ask, where to go, and how to do all things you want to happen to find the answer to the problem. Behaving this way, you are then confronted with a research problem. So class, you have to be aware, okay? So dapat class, in formulating your research problem, kung gusto mo, ano gid ang gusto mo nga mahibaluan bala class, it must be in your interest. Dapat interested kag hibaluan ang amo sina, because ang interest is the main determinant of research. Okay? Magamba kita main determinant. Dapat it's amuna sa bala class ang sukat. Okay? Ang sukatan if how long could you study for that problem. So dapat class, 'di ba, if you do not want to do a thing na hindi ka passionate about, 'di ba? Kung hindi ka passionate sa isa ka bagay, sometimes you just tend not to do it na lang, okay? Or not give your best, okay? However, if you're really interested and you're passionate about a certain thing na gusto mong hibaloon, gid, okay? You try to do a lot of things. You go beyond your limits in knowing things. Okay? So dapat amo na klaseng yung mindset in this research. Dapat ang research problem ninyo, okay, must be of your interest. Okay? So dapat hindi kaya basta-basta lang mag-ano ka lang sa research mo na hindi ka man interesado. Alright? So dapat kamo nga group mates mag-convene or mag-come together and have a teamwork if amo man ang gusto niyo hibaloon. Alright? Sa group 1, ano ang inyong sa group 3 naman tamo pisa kay wala ako pa makot yun sa group 3. Group 3, anong inyong topic na napili? Who can answer for group 3? Sino ka ng group 3 di wala may nakabalo sa topic eh. Ano lang Boronil. Yes, Yasin nang gambal.
Ano to, sir?
Okay. Flores, ano ang napili nyo nga topic for
Yes,
group
sir.
3?
Wala pa, sir.
Wala pa nakasend na gani kamong title, may topic na kamo eh. Wala ka bala.
Tegay ang lima nga saya ay sir. Din ko alang naman tatlo mo tong ginsensi mo, sir.
Okay. Pero among all those 3 ninyo nga ginkuha, nga ginsend sa akon, okay? So ano to ang daw pinaka-interesado kamo?
Nakadepende sa groupmate, sir, kay gina-vote namon, sir, kundi ang mas blood nakadepende man sa iban, sir.
All right. Okay. So amo na klaseng inhambal ko, you really need to know nga in research dapat ang interesado gid kamo because if you really want to have an answer sa inyong research nga problem nga na later on, ang inyong process bala class, ang inyong processes sa pag-ubra nyo, kung balaan nyo gid kung ano inyong ginobra in research, ang inyong processes na mga statistical tools yung gamiton later on, siya, on point siya, kag i-checkto siya, because in the first place kabalo ka mo and interesado ka mo sa inyong topic. So amo na dapat kasi ang inyong mindset. All right? So, in knowing your research problem, pagid, you have to remember nga dapat kabalo ka mo sa ginaobra nyo. In research, in conducting a research or in making a research, it's very important that you have a presence of mind, okay? Para mabalaan mo class kung ano ang step mo nga sunod nga himuon, anong step mo nga i-take so that um itsakto ang imong result later on sa pagkatapos ng imong research, okay? Or at the end of your research. All right, so let's continue. A research problem is something that nurtures in your mind a difficulty or uncertainty enough to push you to do an empirical investigation whereby you search for answers to a problem by collecting and analyzing data or information through which you can find the right answer or solution. Magkabag kita empirical class, it means nga may system bala class, okay? It's just like you're trying to investigate. Okay? Magamba kita investigate, you're trying to go step by step, you're trying to collect data. Okay? Gina-collect mo ang data, mga pruweba, for example, in investigation, investigating, for example, sa mga police na, okay, pangita ka, mga pruweba and everything else, kay para makakome up ka with an answer. Okay? Next, dire na ta ma-proceed. The sources of quantitative research problem. So ano mga ibang nga sources ang quantitative research problem? Sa diin ka mo usually makakuha sa inspiration nyo in conducting a quantitative research. First, agencies of the government or any non-government institutions in which in your part, you're not going to do it. Kay, of course, as what I said, dapat like maritime related kita inyong mga topic and research nga obrahon. Okay? Pero if there is none, kung wala na gid class ang choice nga kido na kuha na tanan nga research problem about maritime, may pwede man aguro makahatag kami sang allowance sa inyo or sang opportunity sa inyo nga mag-search or mag-ubra research regarding some other topics. Okay? Pero hindi man aguro maubusan na. Number 2, your own experience or genuine interest in something. So it can be a source of a quantitative research problem. For example, you can see that there are a lot of teenagers na who are having teenage pregnancy, for example. So makanda ka sang research about it. Okay? So how many percentage of young female students got pregnant after February 14. Do mga mamo na bala. All right. So number 3, previous research findings which you want to validate or consider as studies suffering from some inconsistencies or discrepancies. Okay. So you have to remember class nga you can create a research out of another research. Okay. Pero not the same content and not the same not the same entirely the same topic. Okay? So, for example, may ara dito abing sa topic to is about accidents in maritime related accidents abi ang research. Okay? So, ang research abi nga nag-existing na or naobra na would be about percentage of Filipino seafarers on board who suffered a maritime related accident. Okay, so amo na bing existing nga research. Then ikaw, because you are interested in knowing how many were killed in these accidents. So pwede naman na nga another research naman na class. Okay? Kay kumbaga amo na ang wala na studyhan sang research nga ato. Okay? Kaya ato yung nga research sabing una nag-discuss lang siya about sa mga pila lang gid ka percentage ng Pilipino ang na-aksidente in on board, for example, maritime related on board ng mga accidents. So ikaw kay wala man dito na state sa research nga to if how many were killed. Okay, amo naman na imo studyhan. Okay, so amo man lang na class in research. Okay, you add a knowledge to the body of knowledge already kay para ma-complete ninyo kumbaga kung ano na ang dapat yun may baluan on that system or on that body of knowledge. Okay, next. present political, social, or economic issues in society. Okay, so ang mga issues, for example, ng mga mga war on drugs, for example. So it can actually be a source of your quantitative research. How many percentage of amo-amo ni of teenagers or are involved in drugs, for example. Next, review of related literature. Okay? So amo na pareho man sa ngambal ko may iban pagid nga mga researches nga related man pwede ka man dira kakuha sa inspiration mo. Okay? Next, several research questions versus quantitative research problem. Several reasons prod you to define or finalize a research problem or a topic. But this does not mean that after spending time thinking about a research problem, immediately you plunge into carrying out an investigation or collecting and analyzing data. Thinking of a research problem or a topic to research on is a beginning act in research. Another initial research act is asking a set of specific questions or identifying sub-problems about the research problem. So class, before, for example, nakakita ka na bisang research problem nyo, okay? So do not, keep in mind that you do not need to directly go into investigation already or i-conduct mo na ang imong research nga naisip dayon right away. Okay? Hindi. May mga certain para sa hambal ko, in research it is scientific, so may mga steps ka pa nga obrahon. So before you conduct your research, dapat i-review mo anay, mangita ka na isang iban nga mga sources, di ba? May chapter 1 ka pa, may chapter 2 ka pa nga obrahon. Alright? So gina-set mo na anay before anything else, before mo i-conduct ang imong study. Okay? Next. Class mapatay ni you just need to watch you just need to enter the link again ha, okay, for the Zoom meeting. Kung mapatay ni ang so that we can continue. Then after that, I will let you na answer the assessment part. Okay? Research problem. There are two types of research problems actually that you can nga pwede naton obrahon. Okay? These are interrogative statement and declarative statement. So when we talk about interrogative statement, of course, it ends with question mark. It ends with question. Declarative statement naman niya, it ends with a period, and it is a statement. Okay, an exact statement. In research, sino nang pa music? Party? Please mute your mic. Sino na ang pa music? Wala, inamin na lang. Tao mo yung gaong-ulungol na ang Lorito. Diyos ko, Lorito. Domingo, bala kagapon. Okay, next. Okay. Declarative statement. Saan mo na ginaba ko, class? In interrogative and declarative sentence, mas ginagamit ang interrogative statement, okay, as a research problem. Because it's a problem, it really has a question, okay? So usually, in making a research paper, interrogative statement ang ginagamit for the research problem. All right? So here are some research questions. First, interrogative. Mga examples lang niya. Alright? For example, interrogative statement mo or ang research problem mo the research problem is your main problem. Then the research questions, amo na sila class ang mga ang mga ginaubra mo nga mga questions, mga specific ng mga question about the research problem. Okay? So ang research problem mo what percentage of Manila private universities consider the use of grammar textbooks as the most effective way to help college students attain communicative competence? Kumbaga, this is going to be your interrogative statement, okay? Or your research problem. How many percentage, okay? Or what percentage of Manila private universities nga gina-consider ang grammar nga mga libro, okay, nga most effective siya when it comes to developing ang communicative competence or inabalaklas ang abilidad ng isa ka estudyante to communicate. Okay? So ano ka percentage? Okay? So ang research questions mo could actually be these ones. Okay? What is an English grammar textbook? What is communicative competence? All right? What components of the grammar textbook work for communicative competence development? Okay? So ginapamangkot man class if what is an English grammar textbook, what is communicative competence. So out of your research problem dire, makita mo class ang mga keywords. Okay? So keywords gid here is the grammar textbook. Okay? So dapat ang grammar textbook i-define mo na. Okay? So in your research question, you have to ask man, what is an English grammar textbook? Another keyword here is communicative competence. So you have to define what is communicative competence. So your readers later on or your panel for your research would know if you have any idea of your research, okay? Especially the terms you used. So you have to define communicative competence. Aripaged, what components of the grammar textbook work for communicative competence development? How many Manila private universities require the use of textbook? How many Manila private universities use grammar textbook as references only? To what extent do Manila private universities find grammar textbook? Now, you are not going in your research paper nga obrahon ninyo in this semester sa Jan B for your senior high school requirement. Ang mga question nga ni class, ang iban nga mga question nga nakita nyo sa research questions kani, do hindi gusto ya class, hindi naton ang iban diri pag-focusan. Okay? Why? Because we were told that we need to encourage students kuno, especially those who are taking PR2 to make their researches simple as possible. Okay? Because it's difficult gid man for us to communicate with one another, especially if may mga changes, if may mga something nga ipaliwat bala sa inyo, mabudlay mag-communicate online. So as much as possible kuno descriptive lang nga researches ang inyo obrahon, in which inabalaklas ang mga kapamangkot lang sang how many, how much, what percentage, inabalaklas ang ma-solve ninyo dayon online lang through online survey. Okay? So amo lang ng mga research ninyo nga obrahon. Okay? Hindi na class ang mga correlational, ang mga comparative study, kaya daw medyo mauti na siya. Okay? So amo na class ang ang research problem and research what do you call this? Mga research questions. Later on, after this class, I will share to you some useful YouTube videos